I didn't get really emotional like how other people were getting. I was more pissed. It was a roller coaster and it had me tears. The book is not exciting if it's very predictable. Hello you guys, welcome to today's video. I'm going to discuss with you guys every single book that I have read this year so far in 2026. We got the good, we got the bad. As you can see back here, I got my life together. About time. The second book that I read this year was Wild Dark Shore, trending all over platforms of booktok and booktube. Islands and thrillers are like summer vibes for me. You got me hooked. And everyone was giving this good reviews, so I was like, all right, let's get this book. Following Dominic Salt and his 3 children are caretakers of Shearwater, its world's largest seed bank. Shearwater was one of the sea levels rising and the salts are in its full inhabitations until during the worst storm the island has ever seen, a woman mysteriously washes ashore. Rowan starts imagining a future where she could belong to someone again. And when she discovers sabotage radios and freshly dug graves, she realizes Dominic is keeping his own secrets. They all must decide if they can trust one another to protect the seeds in their care before it's too late, and if they could finally put the tragedy of the past behind them to create something new and together. All of their point of views. So we have Dominic the dad, Rowan is the girl that washed up ashore, Finn is like this, I don't know if she's the middle child, and then the brother, and then the child. The child, he knows about nature, the seeds, and the animals in the island, their day-to-day life in the island. And obviously Rowan is like the clueless woman. She washed up ashore for a reason. And throughout the story, you're gonna figure out what the reason is. The haunting, mysterious vibes were there. No one really said anything that how very informational this book was about the island that they're in. Climate change. I kind of like dozed off because there was like a little romance which caught me off guard, and I was like, oh. And I feel like everything was so predictable. The book is not exciting if it's very predictable, and it just kind of goes lower my radar. The whole time I was like in the island with them, I felt like suffocating. I know that's such a weird thing. Like, how can you suffocate with reading words? So you're not even physically there, but how the writing, I feel like I was in there in the island with them. I was just like kind of like the side guys, kind of like invisible when they were talking, having their little conversation. The writing was good on that. It made me feel like I was there. My final rating for this book is 3.25 stars. The next book I'm going to discuss, Alchemized. I read Alchemized on my Kindle. I was determined to read that 1,000 pages, and I did it in 2 weeks. I'm pretty proud of myself. It was a roller coaster and it had me tears. This book has a special place in my heart. Wait, hold on. Are you ready to be shocked? Ta-da! The book is so cute. I have a whole vlog dedicated to this book. Just to let you know, it's a romancy. Check trigger warnings before you read a single sentence in this book. It's pretty tragic. Beware. If it was more than 1,000 pages, I would totally read it. Infinity Stars. The next book that I read, Monsterio. Their son sadly died, so you're following this family trying to overcome that grief. The mother cut out her dying son's lung. I know, pretty tragic. And I guess like the folklore was the lung will grow into a man. I thought the writing was phenomenal. Gory and haunting, and I really like Margot. She is like this fierce, stubborn, she's just getting over grief. You can't blame a girl for that. It's in different parts. So Margot's in like the first part of the book, dad of what he went through during that same period of time, and her best friend Jackie. And then on the last part is Monsterio himself. I really like Margot's part of the story and Monsterio's. 3.75 stars. It was really good. I'm gonna pick up more of his books. The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. The Only One Left by Riley Sager. That book was like the first ever book, was 5 out of 5 stars on a thriller. It's my favorite thriller. I wanted to see if I could get another 5 out of 5 stars from Riley Sager. Casey, a recently widowed actress, tries to escape a shriek of bad press, has retreated to the peace and quiet of her family lake house in Vermont. Paired with the binoculars and several bottles of bourbon, she passes the time watching Tom and Catherine Royce, the glamorous couple living in the house across the lake. A tech inventor, Tom, is powerful, and a former model, Catherine, is gorgeous. One day on the lake, Casey saves Catherine from drowning, and the two strikes up a friendship. But the more they get to know each other, and the longer Casey watches, it becomes clear that Catherine and Tom's marriage isn't as perfect as it seems. When When Catherine suddenly vanished, Casey immediately suspects Tom of foul play. When she doesn't realize that there is more to a story that meets the eye and the shocking secrets can lurk beneath the most of the surfaces. But I really did like the friendship of Casey and Catherine girlhood. Casey was drinking a lot. Once like a thriller or any book talks about drinking, there's always like holes. The character doesn't remember this, she doesn't remember that, like, and then it's just like all hazy a little bit. I know that's the point of drinking. I don't know, it's just like personal preference. Catherine and Tom, which is the couple on the across the lake, and there's like tea, full of tea, and I was here for it. 3.75 stars. The next book that I read is Just Friends by Haley Pham. I'm gonna enter a clip of past Emily reviewing this book. When she released this and started talking about this book, I was gonna get my hands regardless of what the book was gonna be about. If it was a biography, I would have read that. Following Blair and Dilkin were inseparable on growing up, best friends who knew each other better than anyone else. But when an impulsive kiss took them from friends to something more, everything changed. Just as quickly as the romance started, one moment shattered it all, leaving them with nothing but heartbreak and silence. Now 4 years later, Blair is back in the coastal hometown of Seabrook to support her mom and care for her great aunt Lottie. To make ends meet, Blair applies to working at a coffee shop, only to discover it is managed by none other than Dilkin. The tension these characters are gonna have. The boy she loved, the boy she lost, the boy who still makes her heart race. As Blair paths keeps crossing with Dilkin's old wound resurfaces, secrets are revealed and sparks reunite. Just want to say I'm very proud of Haley Pham too, putting her foot forward and creating this universe, this story, and being very open about grief and not shying away from it. But I think she's just very inspired by Emily Henry. Like, what's the harm of being inspired by your favorite author or your favorite celebrity? Or a connection that she had with her aunt Lottie was just like so heartwarming, and I love books like that. And that connection of being with family, like so cozy being in Seabrook. Me personally, in real life and in books, I hate when the person can tell me what they want and what they want to say. That is honestly my biggest pet peeve. We have a past and present timeline. I genuinely only like the present timeline. I didn't really care about the past, and I know that's the whole point of the book. Was there like a disconnection with the past and present timeline? Were they written in different parts? Like the present timeline was written better, because usually in like other books, if it is in high school, the writing is the same all around. Do you understand what I mean? Take this with a grain of salt. That is honestly my opinion. I think Haley Pham should obviously keep going. This is just the start of Haley Pham. My final rating for this book is 3 stars. Yeah, I can't wait to see what Haley Pham comes out with next. So the next book that was like full of rage also was The Bright Years, and people cried in this book. One family with 4 generations is secret son, a devastating addition, and a Texas family is met with losses and prizes of inheritance. So we're following Ryan and Lillian Brights. This is the first generation. Mom and dad are in love, recently married, and now parents to a baby girl, Georgette. Lillian has a son she hasn't told Ryan about, and Ryan has an alcohol addiction, so Georgette comes of age watching their marriage rise and fall. Georgette tries to distance herself from the reminders of her parents. Years later, Lillian's son comes searching for his birth family. I did like the beginning of the book. It was following the mom and the dad, and I was like, oh, the first generation, let's see, there's gonna be tea, they're falling in love, they're getting an apartment, they're getting for their first baby, and then the grief of losing their first child. She kept having miscarriages, literally feeling for them, and I was like, oh my god. And then everything started breaking, and then Georgette comes. Ryan was like, I kind of forgot what triggered him to drinking all the time. Why do you have to pick up the drink? Why? You're gonna ruin everything. Lillian's and Ryan's, what their childhood was, and that's why they are the way they are now. Then we have Georgette's point of view. I gave The Bright Years 4 stars. I didn't get really emotional like how other people were getting. I was more pissed. There's a reason why people don't ask for help. You can't help people if they don't want to get them help for themselves, and that's the reality. I did like the writing for this book. I'll read more from this author. The last final book that I read so far this year is My Husband's Wife by Alice Spini. Eden Fox, an artist on the brink of big breaks, sets off for a run before her first expedition. When she returns to the home she recently moved into Spyglass, enchanting old house in Hope Falls. Nothing is as it should be. Her key doesn't fit. A woman eerie similar to her answers the door, and her husband insists that this stranger is his wife. 1 house, 1 husband, 2 women. Someone is lying. 6 months later, a Londoner named Bertie inherits Spyglass, and this unexpected gift from a long-lost grandmother brings her to the pretty seaside village of Hope Falls. Bertie stumbles upon a shadowy London clinic that claims to be able to predict a person's date of death, including her own. This book was crazy. Alice Finney knows how to make you like scared. It makes me feel like I'm in the story with them, and I was like, I gotta go. I know y'all are in the book and actually experiencing stuff, but I gotta go. I gave that book a 4 stars. Basically all the books that I read so far this year. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!